I hate to say it, develop a survey to kind of get feedback. You know, we gotta see, is it isolated? Is it universal? I think we gotta get a better idea of, you know, if it is overwhelming right now. And then also, it will help us make decisions too. Maybe we gotta add a few more after-school programs. But before we do any of that, I would like to hear feedback from the students. So I think if you could work on behalf of the board, and board, is this, if you could work with him and kind of see what you could come up with. You know, because listen, I get it. You know, we were not in, and I think what's happening right now as a teacher, you're probably thinking, all right, we got to catch up, and you know, this at the high school level, it's game time, right? I mean, we got to prepare to graduate and go on to college, and there's some requirements you have to meet. Most likely the Regents is going to be back, but you know, I think a lot of times as adults, when we hear from the students, it gives us an opportunity to self-reflect and say, and pull back and say, okay, it's okay. Maybe I can slow down a little bit. So I asked that the two of you work together and come up with a survey to kind of get an idea from the kids, and maybe, and then I think it's important that the teachers hear that. So that if in fact what we're hearing is universal, you know, we don't want to lose kids either, right? So just a thought.
Yeah, and what goes, I don't remember if we did that as a goal. I don't remember if that was a goal, Tom, but we talked about homework. We talked about homework and how much time every class should have, every year should be like 10-minute increments, I think it was at one point. I don't know if that was a goal or something we just talked about here as a board. Remember, Kevin?
Yeah, we have revised our homework policies, particularly at the elementary level.
Yeah, it was more.
I don't want to speak verbatim because I don't have it in front of me, but they were revised as a result of that conversation.
Yeah, we discussed the same
I think the middle school, I think the middle school too.
Yeah, we didn't do, it wasn't for the high school, obviously, but we'll try to help you out. All right? So get us that information, work with the principal, and see what you come up with.
If you wouldn't mind.
The survey says anything that I'm hearing in my house, like, that may be a factor.
So we'll now that we know, and if you get the information for us, we'll work on it. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
That was in reference to the parent comment
Joe,
about
sorry
excessive
for your work.
homework.
Yeah, get out more work for you. So you get 5 hours of plus you're gonna do this. Yes, Vinny.
Thank you, Joe. In talking about that, and Kevin hit the nail on the head, because when the parent was speaking about homework and such, you know, teachers are set, there are goals. Even though this year supposedly is normal, we didn't come into it normal. We lost a whole year. And I've said this before, if you want to start making some changes, school has to be longer. With everything that's put on these children and these young adults, it's murder. I mean, you have to compete.
Yeah.
You have to finish things, and it's not going to. And teachers, they're in unison. We've got to finish. We got to go. We got to keep pushing. And you know, it's very difficult that when you have a curriculum that there's a child that is behind. It's very difficult to catch that child up because the rest of the class is moving. Now that teacher has to have time to catch that child up. Yeah. It's a really catch-one, you know, situation, and I understand it, and I just think that we, the board, should start looking at that, and Kevin, with the teachers at building level meetings, that this should be discussed and talked about, because nothing's going to change for them, because that's how they're graded. Just how the children are graded going to college and so on and so forth, those test results.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we should look at something like that.
Yeah, and I think the whole board's behind that, 100%.
Thank you.
100%. Anything else?
Joe?
Yes?
Kind of switching terms a little bit in reference to